Hi everyone. I don't know if you can even see me the way that I have my serger set up. So tonight I'm going to be sewing some shirts, some Pleplum shirts for my nieces. And I've had the blue one cut out for quite a while. But I cut out 2 more since I have 3 nieces. So I'm going to do hopefully all 3 at the same time. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm just trying to pull it up so I can see everything for the chat. Alright, perfect. Hi Nicole, hi Liz, hi Brittany. So Liz, you'll be proud of me. I'm attempting clothes tonight. It's from Ellie Mac. It is their, I believe it's called the Staycation, and it can be a dress, a skirt, a pleplum. So I've made some other Ellie Mac for my nieces, so I figure we'll go with it and see how it goes. Yeah, Liz, I did, and actually, I'm thankfully I tested it before because I did like a test edge, and as I was doing it, I always store this serger like over here, and the top was pushed down and the threads must have tangled and it snapped the thread. So I had to re-thread it before coming on, and that's like hands down the worst part of, in my opinion, of a serger. But I mean, once I get it down, it's not so bad, but every single time I still have to like do a search to be like, oh, which side goes first? So I'm just separating these and just grabbing like the front and back bodice, I think that's how you pronounce it, bodice, for each of them, because I figure I'll just do the same step like assembly line style. Hi Arnetta! Oh my gosh, are the cherry blossoms out yet? It's still a little too cold in New York. It's starting to warm up. It definitely feels like spring, but just on Sunday, it was like back in the 30s again, so I love the cherry blossoms. We'll be going to the botanical gardens to see them. So I'm not sure the type of fabric I'm using. Hi, Crystal. Rita, sorry. Every time I see you, Rita, I read Crystal's Dragon, so I am so sorry. I actually got this fabric a few years ago at Walmart. They have like those bundled rolls, and it's like 3 yards for, I think it's like $7 or something like that. And I made my nieces a dress like 3 years ago out of it, but there's so much fabric left over, so I'm going to try to do the staycation. All right. So the first step, I'm just attaching the tops of the shoulders for the front and the back. So I feel pretty comfortable with this so far because it's similar to the other shirts. My only exception is it's going to need me to gather it, but it has you sewing it in the round. So if you have any suggestions on how to gather it, I was reading an article that you can gather with your serger, but then it kind of makes it a thicker seam. So my other thing is I was thinking I could like just evenly space the pleats, like pleat it. And my setting should be good because like I said, I literally threaded it like right before I got on. Really, Liz? I wish I didn't catch this one. I need to go back and learn. You guys will have to stumble with me through it tonight. Because I was reading how you can do it sewing 2 lines on the sewing machine, like 2 just like basting stitches, and then you tug the bottom one. But oh, Kim looked it up for you. Oh, that's funny. That's awesome. But I'm afraid that if I sewed it first, it would get chopped off by the little serger knife. So we'll see. But this fabric it's definitely like, it's a knit. It's super stretchy and like has a texture to it. So it's not like a smooth like cotton spandex or anything. Not quite sure what it is, but it's really comfortable. One of these, I have some fabric left over that I might attempt to make myself something out of it. We'll see how that goes though. Oh, okay, Lisa, so you do normally do it that way. All right. Yeah, that seemed like the easiest way, but I just don't think it will work for this. That, and if, I don't know if I would be able to move the phone or like, you know, the camera so you guys could see. It's funny, I've had the blue one cut out for probably like 2 months now. So earlier today, I was like, I don't know what I want to work on. I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this and it will hopefully give me some, you know, motivation. And that way hopefully when I see my nieces this weekend, they'll like them and they'll fit. And I'm just leaving the others. I didn't bother like snipping the threads yet. I'm just clipping them as I go. So those of you who make clothes, have you done a rolled hem or like the lettuce hem on a serger? I've never tried either. But depending how this comes together, I was thinking of trying it. So if you've ever done it and you have an opinion on it, definitely let me know. Oh, thanks, Dad. Yeah, I think they'll like them a lot. Alright, so now I'm just cutting between, I just like basically like chain stitched them so that way I didn't have to waste thread between all of them. And I was reading in the instructions, I don't want to jinx myself, but it seemed like it would be really quick. So I figured that if I do all 3, I could, you know, it would probably take the hour. Okay, so Liz, one of the videos that I saw, they said that they removed the left needle completely. Like they were using 3 of the, yeah, only the far right 3. And then the furthest one, they were, what's it called? Putting the tension up higher. First needle. I turned my knife off, and then when I sewed the piece together. Oh, that's smart. Okay, yeah, and then they also showed it pulling out one of the little like looper piece inside. But I'm not sure. Set differential to highest setting. All right, I have to scroll back up. So when I get to that part, I'm gonna do what you did if it works. Alright, and so now I'm gonna attach the sleeves, and they have you match your centers, like your center of your sleeve to the seam. So I'm just going to mark that. This is my favorite marking tool, the blue water soluble pen. I use it on pretty much everything. Oh, I can pin the I like need to learn more about how to use YouTube and such. In the sense of like comments and moderators and oh, perfect. Okay. Thanks. Now I can find it easy. I really appreciate it. I've learned so much from everybody when you guys tune in. And I like sewing with knits because I also feel like they're really forgiving because they're stretchy. So I'm just laying this out flat, and my seams I'm pushing towards like the back, and then I'm going to clip my center. So for these, what I normally do is clip my center and then the ends of it and kind of just stretch it as I go and hope I catch everything. So I feel like if I try to stretch it and clip it, it's not always like even. Oh, that's awesome, Rita. You make them coats? That's so cute. Alright, so I'm going to do this with the arm, like the sleeve piece up, so that way I can stretch it and try to, I can see it stretch to make sure that I'm catching the whole edge. Right. So it's pretty lined up. And then I sew to where my clip is and then just kind of line up the same on the other side. Oh my, that is funny. I just learned, I didn't realize, like some of the short-haired dogs actually get really cold and like need a coat. I was one of those people that just thought like, oh, dogs, they, you know, they've been like bred like outside. Because I mean, I guess you see more, or at least for me. Growing up, I never really saw a lot of animals with like clothes on. But now, especially where I work, there are a ton of dogs in the area. Like you'll see dog walkers some days with literally like 10 dogs. And they're so cute. They have like jackets and boots and everything. But we also had like really furry dogs, so I'm sure that makes a difference too. Aw, thanks, Liz. Yeah, I'm hoping it comes out cute. And it's called the Staycation, and it has like you can make like a multi-tiered skirt, a dress. There's even like an option for the top, like a little camisole with like skinny straps, like spaghetti straps instead of sleeves. So there's quite a few options within the pattern. All right. And so because I stretch it, I always turn it right side out just to check that I caught all the seams. Or all the edges. I'm getting better at it. So my first couple outfits, it was a learning curve. That's for sure. All right. So now I'm going to do the same thing for the other sleeve. Oh, yeah, that's awesome, Rita. I had no clue that was a thing with short-haired dogs. We always had, like, my parents have a golden doodle, and then before that, we would get them from the pound, and they were like poodle or terrier mixes, so they were always like really furry. And I'm just repeating, clipping the center for the arm. To buy apparel fabrics, a lot of the custom fabric groups have, if you're looking for specific prints, there's a whole bunch of custom groups that print on cotton spandex and bamboo. Some have like what do they call it? Like athletic type or double brush poly. I'm not like a big person for apparel. So like literally this was from the fabric bin at Walmart where they have rolls, and with Joann's going out of place. Yeah, okay, good, Liz. She sews a lot of clothes. So if anybody makes clothes, feel free to put in the comments. I'll have to look at Amanda's bundles, Liz. Most of the clothing that I have bought is like the character prints for my nieces and such. Or the ones that are not character, Rocker by D-Stash is like one of my favorites. I have like a whole hoard of her fabrics where one day if I feel confident enough to make myself clothes. I'm trying to make sure the seam doesn't get flipped over when I got to that center, since I'm going in the opposite direction. I don't think two of my nieces would notice, but one of them is definitely more sensitive to like textures of clothing and stuff, so oh, that's great that there's a variety too. It's really such a shame, like I feel like for Joann's going out of business, because you could find so much there, especially if you wanted to like experiment with different types of fabric bases. Wet retro stitch and whimsical. Oh, I love Oh So Pretty. I have a few of their prints. I haven't tried retro stitch or whimsical yet. All right, awesome. So this one is attached. So I'm gonna do the other two. What's nice is this really didn't have that many pieces to cut. I had the blue one cut out for a while, but I had to cut the other two. I think it only took me like maybe 20 minutes to cut these both out. Yes, that's true, Liz. I try to shop the custom, especially if they're like running a sale. Or if I'm buying custom, I'll buy it like knowing what I want to use it for. Right. I'm just marking my centers again. I've gotten some solid cotton spandex from both Oh So Pretty and Rocker by D-Stash that their solids I feel like were pretty affordable. Oh, Carolyn, I can totally understand. Yeah, I'm bummed too. Like, well, I live in New York City, so we have the fashion district, so I guess I could go in there, but honestly, I'm like really intimidated to go into some of the stores because they're like so tiny and then some are like wholesale only. I've gone to Mood once and that was cool, but it's super overwhelming. There's so many fabrics. But so honestly, I usually would just go to Joann's. Peach Performance. I haven't tried French Terry, only because I've heard everybody loves it, right? But all I can think of is how people describe it with the loops is that it's gonna feel like a towel. So I think that's one of the fabrics where I'm like, all right, I need to feel it in person. Liz, when we're at so whatever summit, wear something or bring something that's made out of French terry so I can see it. That's terry cloth. Okay. Cuz that's the only image that I can like get in my head. Hi Wendy, how are you? Thank you so much everyone joining in. I really look forward to Tuesday nights. And especially because like you know, you never know what you're going to end up sewing. Last time I was doing quilting and tonight's clothing, so it's been nice to kind of mix everything up. This week I've been sewing a little bit of everything. KMG Handmade released their travel buddy, so my video for that bag came out, and then I've been filming cotton cuts videos, so some quilting, and then whenever I sew clothes, I don't make like an actual tutorial because I feel like I'm definitely not confident with that. But a live I don't mind because you're just kind of going along with me. Oh, I forget that she does French terry. Okay, so maybe I'll have to get some when I'm at her studio, because then I can like feel everything in person too. I can't believe that we're only a month out from the summit. I'm so excited to see everybody in person that's going to be there. I'm just checking which way that was facing to make sure I'm putting the seams the correct direction. I just messaged a small shop friend today. I'm like, hey, can you make me some templates for my willow wristlet last minute? Because I'm going to have to start cutting out the kits for my class. And I never really realized how big of a difference the acrylic templates can make it like so much faster. So I'm really excited. I have some for the winter crescent bag already, so now I'll have some for the willow too. And then I don't know if any of you are interested, but in July, Amanda from Sew Bestie is hosting Staycation in Las Vegas, and I'm going to be teaching 3 classes there. I'm going to be teaching my winter crescent bag, the puff quilt pillowcase, and the book bestie from Carolina Little Stitches. So all the classes went on sale last week. So I'm really excited because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it work or be able to make it work. But because it's in the summer, it's going to work out great. Oh, Mary Lou, hi! Yes, and Mary Lou's going to help me in class. I'm so excited. And actually, Madeline said she could help out with my puff quilt pillowcase, so I'm really happy. I appreciate you. Mary Lou, how many classes did you end up signing up for? I feel like this part, sewing on the sleeves, is one of the slowest parts, but I also feel like I want to take my time and make sure that I'm not missing any of the edges, but also if it's not stretched like kind of evenly, you'll get like weird ripples and such. So all right, so now I'm on the third one, almost done with sleeves. Nice, 5. That's a good balance. Because some people like, it doesn't matter any convention, sign up for too many and then they feel like overwhelmed. So I think 5 is great. And Wingo, I know Wingo's so fun. I haven't signed up for any yet because I haven't really thought about how I want to go, like what I want to do each day, because my parents might be coming out too. All right, so now I'm just clipping the last one. So far it's stretching really, really nicely, so I'm hoping that it stays, you know, the rest of the top stays sewing well. So are any of you working on any projects right now? Sewing anything currently? Yeah, so I went once to Las Vegas with my parents 6 years ago. I think it was in 2019, and we had such a good time. We spent some time on like the Strip. I got my parents to zip line down in what is it called? Is it Fremont Street, the name of it, in the older section? So that was so fun. It was my mom's first time zip lining, so that was awesome. And then we drove to the Grand Canyon, both Grand Canyon West, which is owned by one of the Native American tribes, where they have like the glass walkway you can go out on. And then we went to the main, the national park, the main entrance. So I definitely want to find some other things to do. The Zara and Mighty Heartbreaker tote. Oh, wow. 6? Oh my gosh. Did you do them all today, Nicole? What is the Zara from? Which company? I don't know if I know that one. Oh, Arnetta shawl. That's really nice. How long does it take you to make one? Oh, yeah, we did the Hoover Dam tour too. I'm really like my major in college was history. So whenever I go anywhere, I try to do like all the historical or like tourist attractions that or things that you can't see elsewhere that are unique to the area. Oh, the Annabelle bags. Wendy, do you sew on a cylinder arm? Because the Annabelle looks super cute, but I've seen where people have been struggling with top stitching it. Wow, yeah, that's a lot of work, Arnetta. All right, last sleeve. Wendy, that's awesome. Did you go to like Sunny in person, Sunny Sewing, and actually like get to test it and everything? That's awesome. Yeah, Sam is super nice. I met him at one of the expos down in Florida. It was really cool. I haven't actually sewn on an industrial though. So I'm hoping that I don't know because I didn't sign up for classes. I don't even know if there's any open yet or still at So Whatever Summit. All right, so I think the next step is that they put the neckline, but that or the the neckband. But I'm gonna do that last. So now it has me putting them right sides together and clipping the sides. So basically, I'm sewing up the arm, like from down to the top of the arm here and straight down. So I'm just clipping the seam. I always match up my seams, and then I think because it's stretchy and whatnot, I always end up pulling them, but I'm going to try to do my best to make sure that they stay even. I'm just going to do one side at a time instead of clipping both. I'm going to do like all three at once, one side at a time. Actually, I think I'm going to start with the sleeve. I was going to start on the bottom, but I think if I do that, then trying to keep the seams the correct direction will be harder, so. Yeah, Liz, I'm not sure if there's any open sew available, or if there is one, I think there might be one, but it overlaps with my class because mine's Sunday morning, I think. All right. Well, I said I wasn't going to do all three, and then I forgot, so I already clipped it. But yeah, so actually, I'm pretty impressed. That seam matched up really nicely underneath. All right, so I'm going to do the other side. So my serger that I'm using is a Brother 1034DX, and I got it, I don't know, four years ago now, maybe 4.5, maybe even 5. I found it at Walmart. Sometimes they have them for $200, and how I fell into custom fabric is I saw some people had made like something out of Harry Potter, and then someone had told me about backstitch fabrics, and I tried to do clothes on the sewing machine, or knits, and I know that you can, but I was getting so frustrated with like the stitching with the zigzag and like how it looked. So when I found that this one was only $1.99, I grabbed it, and I really don't, like, I honestly got the tension set and then like searched and realized that there's a little dial over here that you can change if you're sewing like stretchy fabric, and I learned that, and then really haven't changed many settings on it at all. But it's been pretty good. I know sometimes people, they don't like it because it's not like an air threader, and it is a little bit loud, but for what I needed to do, I really am happy with it. Mary Lou, I do. Maybe in the summer when I'm not working, because you're really not far, especially from my parents. All right. Yay. So I always check, because especially underneath the arm where the curve is, I want to make sure it's lined up. So how cute. So this is the top portion. So I'm going to attach the sides of the others. Yeah, so when it's like the more straight sides, they go so quick, which definitely happy about. I always like, as I was saying, this blue one literally has been cut out for like 2 months, and I've just been dragging making it. But it's funny because once I make them, I'm always like, oh, that came out pretty good. But it's like getting started with it. And when I was home at Christmas time, I brought some of my fabrics to show my nieces. And the oldest one only wanted a couple that had like Disney on it. So I know that they're getting bigger. So I'm like, all right, I need to really sew through my stash of fabric for them before they don't like it anymore. So I'm curious, those of you that So, do you stick to like one type of thing, or do you enjoy sewing a variety of things? Like for me, I think, I mostly do bags, but I really like switching it up with the quilts and the clothing every so often. All right, awesome. And then the blue ones, the sides are done. And now I just need to do the orange one. Oh, all right, Nicole. Yeah, I've really have been enjoying quilting a lot, especially with the new Cotton Cuts quilt with the batiks. I'm like, I can see why people really love these. I have a couple a quilt that I've cut out. Eventually it's going to be for my mom eventually. I have 3 more blocks I need to sew on it before it'll be ready to put together. That's something else that I have cut and put to the side on my list. Liz, I didn't know that you did the quilt tops too. Yeah, I have not done the actual quilting myself. That would be so tedious. I really enjoy the putting together the quilt tops though. It's like a puzzle. And I really love puzzles. Yeah, I agree, Nicole. I love being creative. Like growing up as a kid, I always was like making crafts and stuff. Like like friendship bracelets, and that's when I learned to crochet, and I taught myself like cross stitch when I was younger, and anything that is crafty I really love. I used to do a lot of scrapbooking. That's how I started out with a Cricut. Like I had the very first one that came out because when I was in high school, I used to love doing scrapbooks. I still have all the stuff, but I haven't made one in a long time. Liz. Yeah. So the straight lines, I'm totally fine with that, but I just feel like, when I was quilting the sweatshirt sleeve that I did a couple weeks ago, I was like, okay, that's a little bit more than I expected, or took longer. Oh, that's great, Nicole. Wendy, so you like it? You don't mind that it's like the same like motion? I think also I need to get a walking foot for the Singer machine that I have. All right, so now the orange one is done. Well, the top part anyways. All right, so this is where it's gonna get a little bit interesting. Let me pull the necklines. Because this is where it has me sewing the sides of the pleplum part, the bottom. So it's kind of, you can see it's long. This is much longer, so I'm gonna put them right sides together and do both sides. Helps if you put it the right direction. Yeah, Nicole's a long armor. Nicole, do you long arm like for other people or just your own stuff? I'm going to do all 3 at once, one side at a time. Oh, nice, Nicole. Yeah, that is true. The bags that I make, I do like local craft fairs to support like my hometown at like my church or school where I grew up. And then I throw my bags on Etsy, and every so often like I'll get a sale on one of them. I don't like advertise them for sale. Last one, or last side, I guess, of the first of this one. Wow, Wendy, do you like advertise on social media, or how do you like promote yourself? Oh my gosh, black bags at Christmas. Yeah, I guess black goes with everything though, right? And that's probably why. Anytime I make like a bright, colorful bag, my mom's always like, "That's a summer bag," and I'm like, "Well, guess what? I'm using it now." Like the bag that I'm using is actually quilted out of the same fabrics that I'm doing for the Cotton Cuts Wild West, which is for Josie. So it's like bright pink and orange. And it has like a white vinyl on it, so definitely was after Labor Day. Breaking all the rules. Oh, that's great, Wendy. It's awesome when you, start building up people who like know to look for you for that. I make bags for like my family and cousins. And now I've been focusing a lot on making like YouTube tutorials for the different bags, and then if they sell as like a byproduct of that, that's good. I have like a whole box. I haven't done any I did one craft fair last year, so I definitely need to try to do another. Oh, your photography? That's awesome. I'm gonna have to go search in the group so I can see it. The photography of like your bags or just in general is so hard. I have a light box, but I feel like even that gets shadows, and it's like one of my least favorite things is trying to edit the pictures. I'm glad that it's getting nicer here because like you can take pictures outside better. No one wants to do that when it's like freezing cold in the snow, but now that it's warming up, I'm always envious of everyone who lives in like the warmer climates where they can take the pictures all year long. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the best learning, right? Like hands-on and experimenting. All right, so now this is gonna be the tricky part. So this is, it's so big it's not even gonna fit in like the camera frame. So like this is the bottom of the pleplum. And then this is the top. So this is where I have to gather it. And so it told me to run like 2 basting stitches across the top. But my thing is that it then wants you to sew it in the round. So if I run the strips, it's then going to be like stuck together. So I'm not quite sure. Oh, that's great, Wendy. Yeah, our house, we only have windows on one side, and it's like not good lighting at all. All right, Liz, so how did you gather this to make this work, or gather when you were doing yours? Oh, also I need to mark my centers. Let me do that now. Because I guess I could also just run it on each side. Oh my god, there are too many bugs. That's funny. Yeah, bugs don't bother me unless like the one, like not so bad up here, but when I was in Florida and you get like the huge palmetto bugs. Oh my god, the first time I ever saw one of them in our dorms, I was like, what the heck? It was like a monster bug. And like, I don't really, like spiders don't bother me, like if I know them, they're there. But I swear I'm like the spider whisperer, because if there's one, it will like find me. All right, I'm gonna roll away for 1 second because I think I'm going to try to do the basting stitch just like on one side and then the other, and see if that works. Because I was thinking like, oh, I'll just pleat it, but I think like even if I pleat it, it's not going to be even enough. All right, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna try this real quick. I apologize. You might be able to hear it. The way that I have the cameras, it would be so hard to move it. I'm almost done. I'm sorry. apologize. That was a long thing to sew, and so I had to do 2 lines on both, and it was actually starting to gather as I was sewing. So what I'm gonna try what they said, like grab the bottom, like the bobbin thread, and pull. Oh, perfect. All right, so maybe it was worth it. I apologize that I was like away for so long, but I think it's going to work. So what it says in the instructions is to like scrunch it all the way to the center and then clip your center and then kind of space the gathers out. So we'll try that. I have like white and like a beige thread in there, and it blends so well with this that I'm trying to make sure I'm grabbing the right thing. All right, so that worked out good. Now let's do the other side. And so what I did, because this is like circle, I literally just started on one side, went to the other seam, and then like cut my thread and then sewed the other side instead of sewing it like circular. All right, so now it's super scrunched up, and I need to put it wrong side out. And it said to put like the bodice inside. So basically like right sides are together. And for the skirt part, it doesn't matter what side's like the front or the back, as long as my centers are matched. That's the important thing. All right, so I'm clipping my center here. I'm gonna find my center in the other. It's like tricking my eyes because it's all, one side is gathered and the other side is not. But maybe if someone's watching this who doesn't normally do this, they'll feel encouraged to try, because this is my first time doing anything like this. So, and I appreciate that, you know, you guys have made me feel comfortable like joining in on Tuesdays. So I'm like, all right, they'll help me out. So I clip my centers, and now I'm going to clip my side seam and then just spread the gathers like evenly, or as evenly as I can. I feel like it's like when you do a bag and you're matching up like the lining to the exterior or whatever, is what I feel like I'm doing right now. I left like super long tails because I wasn't sure how much I would need, so I'm just trimming them because I feel like they're getting in my way. All right, so now like this is my side seam and then this is my center. So I'm just going to kind of spread these out as evenly, or distribute them as much as I can. And the instructions did say that they recommend like using clear elastic to kind of reinforce the seam. But I'm only doing the Pleplum version. I'm not doing like the heavy skirt that would all be connected to it. So I'm hoping, like, I didn't put the elastic. I think it'll be fine. Thanks, Liz. Hopefully it turns out okay. Oh, I just snapped a clip. I'm gonna have to get some more clips. I've been breaking so many of them. But I got them all about the same exact time, so I feel like they're just all ready to, they're all starting to go. Alright. And because it's like, so it's circular, it's gonna get stitch circular, so I'm just clipping everything right now. Do you think when I was reading about gathers and stuff, it said that you should put them like towards the what's it called? Like sewn up. I don't know if that makes a difference or sorry, I thought I clipped the center, but I guess I didn't. I'm just fixing that here. Alright. So as I'm clipping it, this side here has way more gathers. So I'm just trying to see if I can distribute this a little bit better on this side here. Alright, well I'm not going to stress it too much. It's my first one, so this one side might not be as evenly distributed as the other. Oh, you broke 6? Yeah, I feel like once one starts to go, I was doing a video once and I literally broke like 4 in a row. And it's not really quality or anything, it's just that they're, you know, plastic and over time. Yeah, that is true. I have like a little bit here and then some on the other, near the other machine. But I definitely need to stock up. Alright, so there's way more gathers on this side. Hopefully it comes out okay. I'm just going to start at one of the side seams and then go around and hopefully it works out okay. I'm just fixing like where everything is. When I slid that back, I pulled it, so. Alright. And this said that if the seam allowance, the bottom one, I did it a little bit bigger. So I'm trimming off more than the seam allowance. We'll see if I end up having to pull out the second thread. I did that because I really didn't want to have to pull out the basting stitches. Alright, and it seems like it's getting pulled through okay. But it's funny, when I was doing the basting stitches, like my Singer machine that you usually see me sew on, it was like, it hates knits. It was starting to push it in the feed dogs and stuff. So it's another reason why I thought the serger was justified. Have a good night, Wendy. Thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna, my plan, I don't think I'm gonna do all 3, just because I don't want to stay on too late, but I'm gonna do this one here, and then I'm gonna do the neckband. That way, if anybody's watching wants to see how that part's done. And then these other 2, I'll finish up tomorrow night. And that's because also I don't want to have to roll away again to do the basting stitches where you guys can't see. And so I'm definitely putting my finger kind of close to where the knife is, so I'm being really mindful. And that's also why I'm sewing so slow. I'm trying to make sure that the edges are getting caught. And honestly, I mean, once it's on, I'm wondering if it'll be like how noticeable if the gathers aren't so perfect. Definitely not when they're running around playing, climbing all everything. See you later, Nicole. Thanks for joining in. And so I'm getting back to the beginning. So what I usually do, so I don't have to like tie my threads, is I just stitch over where I began my serger stitch to begin with. All right, here's the test. Let's see. Alright, I don't think that's too bad. It's pretty cute. There's, you know, there's a little bit like here, but honestly, for my first time ever, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's okay. Yeah, you can see on the back where there's a lot less. So the next ones I'm gonna work on that to see if I can learn how to distribute it a little bit better. What was happening is when I was sewing my second line of basting stitches, it was like already starting to gather on the machine. All right, so the last thing that I'm gonna do is the neckband, which I think this is another reason why I put off clothes sometimes. It's not so bad once you get the hang of it, but it's just tedious. So I'm matching up the side seams, and this is where I use like regular pins. This is the only time that I'll use regular pins because I always end up stabbing myself. But I feel like I can match up the four centers better. So what I do is I put a pin in each center in the front and the back, and then I'll line up those 2 pins and do the sides, because where your shoulder seam is not necessarily where that center mark is. So with knits, and we're gonna have to stretch that neckband, so it is tedious, but it's worth it to take your time and do this step to make sure that you have it divided evenly. All right, so now that I got those 4, I have the neckband, so I'm just going to put that right sides together real quick and sew it together, or yeah, serge it together. Alright, and then it would probably be easier to press it together, like, so now you're going to put the wrong sides together. So it's folded in half. Sometimes I've even serged it just to kind of hold it in place. But I'm not gonna iron it. What I do is where my back seam is, I just pin it to the front. And then when this gets folded in half, I'm finding my center over here. So I just kind of use the pins, and then I'll be extra mindful when I'm serging it that the edges don't get like slip out, because that's so easy to happen. All right, so now I have those two pins in the neckline, so now I'll put those two together and do my other sides. I'm so grateful for videos, because this was like, I'm completely self-taught. So when I was like reading patterns, learning how to do this, I was so confused like what it meant. So I was super grateful. That's one of the reasons that I started with Ellie Mac patterns, because they did have a lot of videos on YouTube or different people sewing their patterns that I was able to watch what they were doing. All right, so now that I have those four, what I do is, let me find which side's my, I have to hold it up to see which one's the back. All right. So I want my center, or the seam where it's sewn together, that's going to be visible. So I'm going to line that up in the back where the pin is. And this is why I like using pins, because I can literally just lay them on top of each other, and I'll slide the pin out and replace it with a clip. And then, so I always I do the front first, the back, and then move to the front, and then my two sides. I used to just do clips, but I was having so much trouble with finding like the exact center, that in this case I found that the pins were easier. All right, and then just the last side. Making sure it doesn't get twisted on me. I've definitely done that too, where I've accidentally twisted the neckband and didn't notice until I was already trying to sew it on. Hey Nikki, how you doing? I'm being brave and trying clothes tonight. All right, so now that I have the four centers, what I'll do is I am going to serge it with the neckband up, so that way I can see. So I start where the back is, and then I'll stretch it. So you can see the bodice is bigger. So when I stretch it, it will line up. And that's what gives your neckline stretch. So you could stretch it now and pin it or clip it, but I like to do it as I'm going. All right. I'm more brave than you. Yeah, I've had, I'm making one for each of my nieces, and I've had the blue one cut out for like 2 months now. Especially because Liz has been inspiring me with all the clothes that she has been making. So I'm like, all right, let me actually sew this. And I'm going to see them soon, so that way I can bring it to them. All right, so I just did a couple stitches. That way it kind of catches for me. And so that way when I'm tugging it, it doesn't get tugged out of from underneath the presser foot. And so now, so I made it to the next clip. So I'm just moving this. There's a little thing here, like I can take this off to make it easier in the round. So now I'm pulling, stretching to my third clip over here, and then I'll remove the second once I have it stretched enough and continue. Okay. And this, I'll do the same thing for the last clip over here. And I use my fingers to make sure everything is lined up, but if you do that, just be very mindful because it does have the knife. It's so easy to accidentally cut yourself. And so now I'm back to where I started, so I'm going to stretch it there, and then when I get to this part, I just go over where I've already serged, just maybe like a half an inch, and that way it catches the seams, and I don't have to worry about tucking in the tail or anything like that. Alright, so got a little thread in there. So now the neckband is all done, and you could like press it or you know, top stitch around. I usually don't, just because I want it to have maximum stretch. So that, all I have left now is to just do the hem on the sleeves and the bottom, but I'm gonna save that and try it a different night because I want to do try the rolled hem or the lettuce hem, and I still need to do the others, so I'd rather sew those two first and do it all at once. But yeah, so this is the Staycation Pleplum top, and hopefully my nieces like it. I'll update in my groups if they do. When they get it, I'll try to take a picture of them with it. But I'm gonna hop off here because what time is it? 9:20. I like to stay on like an hour and a half. So I appreciate everyone joining in, and if you're sewing along with me or chatting, I say it every time, but I really do look forward to Tuesday nights. It's one of those stress-free where I can just work on something and chat along with everybody. So I really, really appreciate it. Oh, thanks, Nikki. Yeah, I'm super excited. So I'm gonna do the basting stitches on these, and I'll definitely post it on my social media once they're all sewn up. So I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll be chatting with you if you're in any of my groups, and if not, hopefully I'll see you next Tuesday night. Good night, everyone.